fans, and this is Retrokid Reviews with a review that has been long overdue. The Beast Morphers first couple episodes, I believe episodes 1 through 7, and the big one, the Cheetah Blaster. So, I'm going to start off on the series first before we get to the Cheetah Blaster. Believe me, there's a lot to say here for pretty much a really reasonable, mid-size, I guess, Zord cannon slash, Nerf blaster. I'm a big fan of the show so far. I'm loving, like, all 7 episodes. Like, a lot of them are definitely focus arc, in general. I'm covering up my Bullet Club and, I think my Punisher hoodie, over here. I really need, like, Great Battle Force, merch, to be honest with you. And that's the whole reason why they call the GB, stuff, where they kept all the, I guess, Goldbusters categorizations for most of the Zords and stuff. They're only just building up the main arcs and the main mech 5 episodes in, which is actually a pretty good way for even for kids nowadays. Even old school Ranger fans like me, I didn't even think they would go that long in. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think my favorite focus arc was the Red Rangers one related to getting a part-time job while being a ranger. As many of you know, I also have a part-time-ish job. It's starting to be more full-time. It's retail, but in his case, it was car wash, and I also had a personal friend of mine that I think you guys might have saw the channel way back when. I'll try to remember who was. Kind of also had a car wash job that just lost a couple weeks back, so personal stuff out of the way. He's okay. He's landing on his feet. He's getting his bearings and stuff in order. But, yeah, that reminded me a lot like that. The premise of the show is a little bit like, Goldbusters, but not a whole lot. They're focusing more on a small town this time around instead of an entire country that the, Sentai version had to basically, not just the world, but, where they live in general. And it really is a more revenge focus, because a lot of the Core 3's family members are alive, like, the mom for the Blue Ranger is actually the commander. The mom for the Yellow Ranger is actually the news reporter for the town, which is really cool. And the dad for the Red Ranger is actually the mayor of the town. So there's a lot of ins and outs for just a couple episodes in general. And I think on the first couple episodes, the mayor was a little, like, defensive. Like, yeah, if we start having Power Rangers here, we're going to start having monsters like Rita and Monster Vile. And he was name-dropping people from previous, Power Rangers timelines, even from previous established errors in the show. So Hasbro isn't messing around. They are really here to play, and they're going to bring everybody in, which is actually a lot better than the previous 2 errors post Mighty Morphin has ever done. I guess since we're talking Power Rangers, I might as well talk about the comic. I'm a little up to date with the Beyond the Grid stuff. I'm a little tuned out, not by much. It's still a good crossover follow-up to Shadow Grid, in case you guys want to read that. I'm heavily recommending the Go-Go book, because it's a lot more team-focused, and it's still, the premise of that book is, like, in between, like, seasons 1 and 2 still. I think by the next couple of arcs, they're actually going to have season 2 stuff. I think for the main book, I think later in the summer they're going to have, their version of the White Rangers arc, so that might happen as well, along as, like, I hope as a sequel to, Shadow Grid. That's what I've been hearing on the news. If I'm at all wrong, Tokusatsu Network's, link in the description in case I got anything off. So yeah, the latest, focus arc I just finished watching as of this recording, is the Beast Bots focused one. All 3 of them from the Sentai are here with new names. I love Jax, because he's a lot like his Sentai version. I'm forgetting. Link in the description for the Sentai names for pretty much everyone in Goldbusters. Again, it's been 6 years. You gotta give me some leeway, guys. Yeah, apparently the whole plan of that episode was them to make a surprise party. Again, I'm all over the place with spoilers. I think Dulcim Rider in Dulcim Rider's reviews, he's more up-to-date, so card to any of his post-vlogs. Prior to this, I'm shooting this before Easter because there's a pretty special guest I hope I can get for the firing demo for the Cheetah Blaster. For those who've been seeing the original footage with the show, is that the Cheetah Blaster was not at all in the main line with the Sentai series. And I just flipped up its foot. Alright. It's the other way around. I know a lot of people, including Dulcim Rider, didn't really get around to getting the ergonomics of this being a Nerf blaster. They focus this more as a Toku toy. But since this is a crossover with two of the biggest things I put on this channel, I'm going to focus on the Nerf first. The ergonomics on this thing is actually pretty good. It's very sleek, smooth plastic, which is pretty good for kids. And I don't see this coming around as a HVC backup, but it'd be a cool funny round kind of deal. Like, if you're just using gimmicky blasters, like, you had this up against, like, all those Avengers Nerf blasters that have been coming out over the years, post, I want to say, first movie, maybe Ultron. The main feature of the blaster is that you can manually twist the Cheetah's mouth to be where the barrel is. Also, rules of the road for darts in general for Toku tubers. You can get other types of darts. I am technically using the Little Valentine Acu Fakes. They are the high, I guess, in my personal opinion, with my go around with Acu Strike knockoff rounds. These are actually pretty good. I highly recommend keeping this kind of color design in case you are actually going to go outside and shoot these. If they ever do range tests, I doubt they would. For indoor battles, like they've probably been talking to death about, it's actually really ideal. It's not bad. It's basically a Power Rangers equivalent to a Nerf Knife Finder, so you got nothing wrong there. So yeah, the button here releases the tail and shows the very, very tiny trigger. Where my finger is right there, that's where the trigger is. So seeing it in person is even weirder, but when you pull back the plunger, all the plunger mechanism I'm seeing so far is probably by the tail end. So once that happens, it flips, and you get basically your canning attack. If this was a show, my figure art is upstairs, not upstairs, right up top of my main display. I can't really get it down for the purposes of this vlog. I mean, not vlog, full-blown Toku review. I've been doing nothing but vlogs the last month and a half. I kind of need this. So, normally this would be like an angle, like, shot if this was a real Nerf game. But in the purposes of, like, Power Rangers, like, you know, playtime, you would use this kind of angle shot, like, again, if the main cannon in this original footage came out of the Zord. There's a lot of hoopla about that. I'll get to that in a bit. Angle shot-wise, probably, I want to ballpark say 80, 90 feet, which is not bad for an angle shot, but on par, like, say, with the Rival series, you could get, like, 200 plus with angle shots. And as you can see, you pull that back with the I want to say thumb hole mount. It's really more of a finger mount. Sex jokes aside, let me just get to, a dry fire is actually pretty good, and has a really good confirming, like, almost like hammer and nail kind of like sound effect. Probably that's mainly probably because of how small the spring had to be with the plunger system. It's very direct plunger for the Nerf crowd. This is very a direct plunger kind of system. It's actually pretty holsterable because it's really not. Sorry, I'm deforming this all over the place. It's really not that big. It's almost the size, I want to say, like a strong arm. So it's about this yay of the size. So technically, if you can find a way to holster this in a game, again for like a comedy round, I would totally see it. So yeah, like I said, I do have the stock rounds. They're just, I've been test shooting this along with watching episodes of the show. They're all over the place, so for the firing demo, I'm going to have a very special guest, and hopefully his mom might agree with me. So be back in 1 sec with the firing demo. If not, I'll explain later. So here we go. Alright, so, yeah. Basically, that was the problem. I couldn't, there was range test footage, and I was trying to, like, mirror it with my, phone. But the thing is, since anyone who knows iPhones and I guess smartphones in general, like, added messages and data rates just go up, and I had to delete the footage, so maybe I can salvage it, but, if there's another Nerf blaster coming out with, the Cheetah blaster, I will definitely do a range test for that, because I owe you guys that, at the very least, for your patience, for just my thoughts in general for Beast Morphers. I still keep calling it Go Busters because in the show there's still a lot of Go Buster moments. Specifically in the Six Rangers debut episode. Like I thought that they weren't gonna do like all the weaknesses that the main three have because this Sentai does introduce the idea of weaknesses. Like in the Red Rangers case, it was chinkins. Here it was dogs because you know. cats and dogs don't always work together. I get basic, kids show stuff. I think Gorilla's weakness stayed 1-to-1 with Sentai. Just don't get pissed off and all that. That's basically it. The Yellow Rangers had the biggest Sentai change because her weakness was that she needed more candy to, get energy and stuff like that. Basic Speed Force stuff, actually, if you really think about it. But in this show's case, it probably would have been a little, I guess he couldn't adapt everything with the Sentai thing, so it's carrots instead. Still retains the Speed Force for the Yellow Ranger. My apologies to my voice and not knowing everyone's character names, but since the show's on break, I'm going to do my best to remember everyone's names when they come back in the fall. So, speaking of stuff that might come to the show either coming back from break or during its season 2 before we get to the Blake Foster stuff, yeah, Austin St. John might be doing a crossover episode with the main show. And if anyone who's remembered the Go Busters / Kyoryuger crossover movie knows that Zyuranger was in the footage, so there's a slight chance that you might get, at the very least, either ASJ or Steve Cardenas from my Car2 when I was doing my review of the 25th anniversary episode. Keep in mind that's still probably the crossover episodes. If I think if Disney Brain was right, it's Carter, his channel. It's a really good channel. RVT alum, so he's good. Yeah, he said that there was a lot more good crossover episodes than it was in, well, Make a Force in general, to be honest with you. But yeah, still got my Morpher. This is still the Sentai version. Give me a like if you guys want me to get the Mighty Morphin, the Beast Morphers version to get a direct comparison, because I already can tell you the difference is that they have a key starter to this thing, and that's how they do it in the show. They just key start it, like a Zeo thing. I don't know. I don't remember all the key starter Morpher poses. I'm not MMPR Tories, guys. They do it better than me. Sorry. Love you, Bruno. Thank you for coming to Image Anime the last couple weeks. Yeah, I've been meaning to do a meetup with the guy. Give me a comment down below if you want me to do a meetup with him. Doubt immensely, but who knows. So yeah, I'm gonna do a quick re-overview. As I said, this blaster is mostly Elite Dart focused. But again, if you're in the Nerf community like me, you can get different types of darts and it'll get different results. I'm almost certain with just the standard elites. Also, these are the Battle Camel darts that I used, that I was supposed to use in the Batman and Robin review cards of that, and just batmonth in general. I might make a playlist for it. So, that being said, it's basically holstering just the same thing as you get with stock darts with this blaster. And the price point alone, I think, was like $20, and it was definitely worth it. Just, to represent Power Rangers and all of that, and for it being the best crossover of both worlds when it comes to the Hasbro era coming in, well, now, in this new era. And also, speaking of new eras, welcome to the Weiwei era, or Weiwa, if I'm pronouncing it right. I think I pronounced it right in my vlog of it, cards of that, for Japanese eras. Also, they're going through what's called a Golden Week. They've been celebrating this since the previous era, and I'm assuming that's going to be the same case here with the new era. That's why there's really haven't been any new Toku content in general when it comes to Jinno or the spin-off Rider Time stuff, because they were on break. So when they come back, I'm gonna go straight into talking about Hibiki and all that stuff. So since we're on news, and this is basically the end of the video, because spoilers, I'm not gonna do any pre or epilogues or anything like that. My voice is shot enough as it is, and editing Batman and Robin was pretty much a nightmare. It was kind of on a crunch, and I want to keep the crunch at a minimum. Blake Foster had some, well, dad punt-ish words with the new Six Ranger, who's also a kid. And if anyone remembers Turbo, that Blake was basically the first Kid Ranger, so why is he talking trash to him now? The whole thing's very hypocritical. I'll try to find a link to the whole story. I personally think it's stupid. I unfollowed him on Instagram. And I love his explanation to the story. His Instagram story. It's like, guys, you could just unfollow away. I don't care. It's not like I'm gonna lose my cons. And he's not gonna lose cons. I know that. I mean, JDF kept talking some trash behind the scenes, and he still keeps going cons. A lot of old stories there. I'm not gonna go on go too deep about it. So much for the news. I'm happy if there is talks for also St. John to show up for the Beast Morphers crossover. If that is the case, that would be pretty freaking cool. I was more of a ASJ fan than I am JDF, with a good reason. He's basically our version of Aqua Red, or Go Red in Sentai comparisons. He's like our first Red Ranger. He's the boss. He's the man. He's the franchise, essentially. That being said, comic stuff, I think they're wrapping up the Beyond the Grid stuff, and like I said earlier in the footage, there will be the White Ranger side of the Mighty Morphin book pretty soon. Again, if it's a sequel to Shadow Grid, like I was saying last month, I'll probably figure it out come later on when those issues start rolling out. I'm also going to try my damnedest to get the freaking Legacy Collection because of, like I mentioned when they bought it, it's basically their version of the Marvel Legends line, and no, this is not me using Scarlet Spider Marvel 2 at all. It's a certain trailer that just came out that I will probably do a react to later this week, God willing. And another thing with the Legacy Collection, they are pretty splayed out pretty well, but I'm happy that they all have Sentai accurate, not Sentai. Sorry, helmetless sculpting for alternate heads. That's pretty cool for just over the franchise in general going forward with a Lightning Collection. Yeah, I'm pretty much rambling. Episode 8 was actually pretty good despite the Blake Foster stuff behind the scenes. And if you also sat through his Instagram story, he also but he was trying to like talk about some dumb reasons why he didn't show up to the crossovers. Like, I get Megaforce, stupid as it is, but where were you with Monster Ranger? Where were you with the 25th card 2? Again, my review of it. Where were the other crossovers? Things weren't adding up. I don't know if he's making fake news or not. I don't really care. I don't follow them just to be on the safe side. So, go to this, I guess, soon-to-be shot. Battle cam dart out of the way over here. Over there. To sub the channel, still no join button. I'm pretty sure I have to have monetization to even get a join feature. I'm starting to figure that out. Hit the bell for more notifications for not only Beast Warfare stuff in the fall, but the toy line in general. And most likely, in my case, it's going to be the Lightning Collection, because it is still a great first wave. I'm not going to be, like, bitchy about it. It's still a great wave. And I guess Cheetah, paw, mouth attack here. Again, to sub to the channel and all that noise. Again, still rambling, and still in a good way. That being said, since the word is out that Austin St. John might show up, back to action! Also, I'm playing Battle of the Grid. It's actually pretty good. They finally got the story and the voice acting in. However, I also got MK11, so you can see where this is going to get busy. That said, take care later, and Beast Morphers! I gotta sing that theme before the fall. Wish me luck, guys.